What's up, everybody? It's me, E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews. When Avengers Endgame ended, many fans were left wondering a couple of things. One of the biggest questions was, what happened with Old Man Captain America? Now, of course, some of that was probably left intentionally open for interpretation, or maybe for a future story for another time. Now, I will cover what I believe happened to Old Man Cap, and point out an important detail that I think many people might have missed. But what I'm really excited to address is the other big question from that ending. That is, where did Cap get that new shield for Falcon? Well, I've got two very fun theories to share with you that I think might just answer that question and give some interesting insight on some gaps in the MCU history that have still been left open. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss this. Coming up next. Once my channel hits 100,000 subscribers, I will be giving away a brand new PlayStation 4. Now keep in mind, this is only going to be given away to the subscribers of my channel, so be sure to subscribe and don't miss out when that time comes. Oh yeah, do me a favor and stick around to the end of this video for a special announcement. I know there are contradicting theories about how the time travel works in Endgame with alternate realities or whatever, but I believe that my theory about how Cap gets Falcon's new shield can fit in whatever time travel theory you want to subscribe to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the backdrop about what happened at the end of Avengers Endgame, and then I'm going to split it off by telling you two different theories. So let's kick off the background to this theory. I believe that 2023 Captain America takes the Infinity Stones back to their proper chronological times when they were removed. After placing the final Infinity Stone back in the 1970s, he runs across Peggy's office once again. It was at this time he started to reflect on what Tony Stark once told him about getting a life of his own. Cap then makes the choice to use his extra Pym particles and travel back in time to be with Peggy. Take note that in order to time travel, Cap needs not only the special device that Tony Stark built, but he also needs one tube of Pym particles for every one-way trip that he makes. Earlier in Endgame, when Cap went back to the 1970s to get the Tesseract with Tony, he grabbed 4 Pym particles instead of just the 2 that were needed. That's an important detail that I think some people might have overlooked. That means that Cap had an extra 2 Pym particle tubes for 2 extra trips. So after Cap put that final stone back where it belonged, he makes another trip to a past reality. I believe he went to the fall of 1945 to be exact. Now I came to this date because if you see in the scene, obviously there are leaves falling on the ground, so it's clearly autumn, and the cars in the background appear to be the models between the 1940s and 50s. And the song that's playing in the background that Peggy and Cap are dancing to, it's called It's Been a Long Time by Harry James, which by the way was released back in November of 1945. Now the funny thing about all this is that Cap had a date with Peggy, which was supposed to be a week from next Saturday of the date when his plane crashed. Cap went missing in early March of 1945. So check this out. This man had a whole time travel device, and the one time he traveled back in the past to the 1940s, he was still like 6 months late for his date with Peggy. Anyway, Cap is back in the mid-1940s, and he's getting his dance on with Peggy in this reality. He ends up marrying Peggy, and in the meantime, he's just living his best life. Alright, so we're all caught up on the same page. This is where I'll give you my very first theory of where Cap got Falcon's shield. It's probably the least likely one, but I still think it would be pretty cool if Marvel found a way to make it happen. Imagine 2023 Cap has been living his best life for a while, and then he realizes that with him making a trip to the past, the future is going to need another Captain America. But of course, what is Captain America with no shield? So let's fast forward to the year 1992. Cap kisses his wife goodbye and sets off on a short journey across the globe. The destination? Wakanda. Thanks to his previous research, Cap knows that Ulysses Klaue is going to steal a bunch of vibranium from the Wakandans. Once Cap sets foot on Wakandan soil, of course he's met up with the Wakandan security force and taken straight to the king. The king at this time being King T'Chaka. Cap warns King T'Chaka of the impending theft from Klaue, but they don't believe this colonizer who just randomly showed up on their doorstep. Then the alarms go off as the king is alerted that someone is trying to steal the vibranium. They capture Claw and give him the branding of a thief on his neck. Unfortunately, Claw manages to escape thanks to the help of the king's brother, Prince Najobu, who was responsible for hiring Claw to steal the vibranium in the first place. After realizing that Cap was right, King T'Chaka grants him one wish as a sign of gratitude. Cap smiles and says, "Think you can make me a shield?" Now personally, I really like this idea because it does a couple of things. One thing is it pays homage to the comics where Cap actually does meet King T'Chaka years ago when the US government tried to visit Wakanda. They fought on their first encounter and all that, and Cap was bested by King T'Chaka, who was the Black Panther at the time. They later became allies, and that was all before Cap was put on ice. The second reason why I like this theory is because it fills in more gaps and connects some dots in the MCU history with both the Age of Ultron and Black Panther stories. Okay, moving on, let's go to my other theory, and let's go back to Cap living his best life with Peggy. As time goes on, we flash forward to the year 2012. Old man Cap is starting to care for his wife Peggy, who's now showing signs of Alzheimer's disease. She's beginning to forget who he is as her mind would continue to wander, and she would often ask if they were still searching for the younger Steve Rogers who was frozen in ice. Unfortunately, her condition progressed to the point where he had to place her in a retirement home, but he still visited her every day. In the years that followed, he attended support groups for veterans. One of his favorite groups to attend was led by a young veteran named Sam Wilson. Cap saw that Sam embodied all the values and qualities that Captain America stood for, the same way a certain doctor saw all the hope and potential in Cap decades before. Later one day, Cap heads out to see his wife Peggy, but he quickly comes to a stop as he sees his younger self standing right in front of the retirement home building. Apparently, this younger Cap is hesitant to go visit Peggy, and he's starting to get cold feet. Old man Cap, who at this point is not recognizable to his younger version, goes up to the young man and says, "You know, I bet whoever you're here to visit would be glad to see you." That was the only nudge of confidence that young Cap needed to hear to go up and visit Peggy. After some time had passed, Old man Cap attends Peggy's funeral but remains out of sight from his younger self the whole time. Realizing that in 2016 the Avengers have their major fallout, Cap realizes that there's an opening for him to acquire the shield that he gave back to Tony during Civil War. Seeing as though Cap is very familiar with Stark Tower already, he tries to access the building with the security codes that he already knows. But his clearance has been revoked. You know, since Tony really wasn't on good terms with Cap at that time. Surveying the area, Cap notices that Stark has sold Avengers Tower, and they're obviously doing a lot of moving. Being the master of espionage that he is, Cap subdues one of the movers and takes their uniform. While Happy is obviously distracted with the move and talking to Spider-Man, Cap goes through the inventory searching for his original shield. He comes across a shield that looks like his old one. This shield, however, doesn't have the claw marks from the battle at the airport. As a matter of fact, this shield appears to be brand new with a slightly darker blue color in the paint. Cap takes the shield and slips away unnoticed. He returns back home, a home that's more empty after the passing of his wife. And he takes a look around the house and remembers back on the many years when he first went back in time to see Peggy again. He opens up a suitcase and pulls out the nanotech quantum suit. He takes his last Pym particle tube and plugs in the coordinates to return to the year 2023 in the main timeline. Keep in mind that whether Cap was in an alternate reality or not, Tony's time travel device acts like a time-space GPS. So it can locate specific points within a reality and guide you right there. So as we jump to 2023, Falcon asks Banner what happened to Cap, and Banner says that Cap blew past his timestamp, meaning that old man Cap traveled back to the present moments after he was supposed to arrive. Bucky notices Cap sitting on the bench and informs Falcon to go on and talk to him. Old man Cap passes on the shield to Falcon and lets him know that he's now the new Captain America. Now this theory, I think, can have a number of benefits. For one, this theory could connect some interesting dots from the MCU history, ranging from Winter Soldier, Civil War, and Spider-Man Homecoming. Next, to my knowledge, the most we've seen of a Stark prototype shield was way back in Iron Man 2, but we have no real clue as to what that shield could do or what it was made out of. As a matter of fact, we don't even know if Falcon's new shield is even vibranium. The slightly darker blue color does kind of give the impression that this is a different shield than Cap's original shield, which had a slightly lighter blue color. An interesting clue that we could maybe speculate about could be from the concept designer for Marvel, Fausto De Martini, who designed a shield for Captain America, and supposedly it was going to be used in Infinity War. The shield was supposed to be created by Tony Stark and it was supposed to be magnetic. Now recall back in Age of Ultron, Stark also made an upgrade to Cap's uniform by giving him magnetic pads to help his shield always return back to him. So being the innovator that he is, I wouldn't be surprised if Stark would have made this new prototype shield to be completely magnetic. Just imagine, Falcon is fighting a bunch of enemies and he activates the magnetic shield and takes all their weapons away from them. That would actually be a pretty nice upgrade for Falcon to make up for the fact that he doesn't have an actual super serum or any superhuman abilities like Cap does. Alright, so those are my two theories as to where Cap got Falcon's new shield. Which theory do you think is more plausible? I'm really torn between the Wakandan theory and the Stark prototype shield theory. Hopefully you all can break the tie and vote for your pick. You could do so by clicking the I in the upper right hand corner or make your pick in the comments below. Obviously, any or all of this could be completely wrong. But hey, maybe one of you have another idea out there about how Cap got this new shield for Falcon. If you have another idea, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to see the interesting things you all come up with. Anyway, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you're new to my channel and if you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to this channel. We're always welcoming to new members of the E-Team. Don't forget to ring that bell and turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on future videos, movie reviews, and giveaways. And speaking of giveaways, when my birthday rolls around, and if I'm able to, instead of receiving gifts, I actually like to give back to all of you just as a way to say thank you for supporting my channel and my page. So in honor of my birthday, I'm going to be doing yet another giveaway where multiple winners are going to win Blu-ray or digital copies of movies like Aquaman, Wonder Woman, X-Men, or Avengers Endgame. Just visit the link in the description down below so you can enter for your chance to win. And hurry, because the contest will be closing soon. Well, I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.